Yo, what is good, everybody? It's your boy Golden Falls, Golden What If, whatever you want to call me, and I'm back with a brand new What If. What if Deku had the Karma Seal? As y'all can tell, this is part one of however many that will basically come out in the near future. But I did want to get out part one for y'all as soon as possible. I'm actually currently recording this at 4:15 a.m. in the morning, but I really wanted to get this out to y'all before I had to take a test later today. And if you're on my community tab, then you know what I'm talking about. But I did want to get this out to y'all ASAP. So yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna waste any more of y'all time. I'm just gonna get right into the what if. Let's get it. There was once a young man by the name of Izuku Midoriya. All he wanted to be when he grew up was just like his idol, All Might. Someone that can save people with a smile on their face. One day, that young boy living in a world with many that had quirks was deemed quirkless. All his chances of becoming a hero seemed to be gone, but this young man refused to give up. This young man was named Izuku Midoriya. A year after being deemed quirkless, Izuku was waiting to get picked up by his mom until his so-called friend Bakugo came over and pushed him over. "Damn nerd, what are you still doing here? Get out of here, you useless Deku." "Kachan, I'm just waiting for my mom." Bakugo scoffs at him, about to respond, but an explosion is heard in the distance. "A villain attack?" Midoriya begins to run full speed to see what is happening, with Bakugo not far behind. Midoriya rushes through the crowd to the very front to see a white figure fighting a tiger-like monster. The fight rages on, as this white figure with black markings on him seems to be losing ground. The crowd begins to murmur, "Where are the other heroes? He needs help." Midoriya begins to think to himself the same thing, hoping that a pro hero will eventually show up. Both the hero and the villain fall into a building where a little girl was seemingly hiding. She runs out as fast as possible, but while this occurred, the tiger villain hits the hero away. The tiger begins to charge, trying to catch the little girl. Midoriya sees this and on pure instincts begins to run out. He grabs her and tries to bring her to safety, running as fast as he can, as the tiger villain basically just continues to chase them both until Midoriya trips. Midoriya turns, seemingly basically just blocking her with his own body. The tiger claw's about to kill Midoriya, but out of nowhere the hero jumps in front of him, getting stabbed with the tiger claws, but knocking the villain out at the same time with a shockwave. Midoriya gets a good look at the hero, realizing that he knows who this hero is. It is a hero from America by the name of Ashura. He turns smiling at Midoriya. "That was impressive, young man. You truly showed the heart of a hero." He begins to shed a tear as he puts his hand on Midoriya's shoulder. Black markings begin to appear on Midoriya's hand. He smiles at Midoriya. A quirkless young hero, but nonetheless a hero. Ashura falls to the ground lifeless as his body slowly disappears. Midoriya looks at his hand in shock at what is there, but confused at what this hero did exactly before he died. Midoriya picks the girl up, asking if she's okay, and she says she's fine and begins to run off, thanking him. "My name's Izuku Midoriya, nice to meet you." "Thank you, Midoriya. My name is Melissa Yagi. I hope to meet you again someday." Midoriya then arrived home and told his mom about everything that happened, and that a pro hero helped them, but unfortunately he passed protecting him and another person. He then explains that after his death, these markings showed up on his hand. Inko, completely confused at what this possibly could be, runs Midoriya to the quirk doctor. "Well, Miss Midoriya, it seems your son has developed a quirk, but in a very unusual way. The X-ray scans tell us that the quirk resides in his hand, but has the potential to spread throughout his body when activated. This quirk is very similar to a hero that resides in America, but we personally don't know much about it. The best explanation we have is that it's some sort of enhancement quirk that can be turned off and on somehow. In terms of how you can do that, I'm not so sure. But if your son trains his body to use this quirk, I'm sure the activation will come on its own. They then leave with Midoriya, extremely excited at the fact that he now has a quirk, but it's still kind of sad that this pro hero had to sacrifice basically his life for him to get it. For years to come, leading up to Midoriya's final year in middle school, his mother has had him train in various quirk controlling training camps that range from dojos to even like police training camps. In that time, he was able to learn how to activate his quirk, and eventually Midoriya called it the Karma Seal because of his mom's constant saying of him having good karma for saving that little girl all those years ago. The day then came where Midoriya's teacher announces that he would be giving them career aptitude tests, but he knows that they all want to go the hero route as he throws the papers in the air. Everyone begins to celebrate by using all their quirks. The teacher calms them all down and continues. We even have our very own students applied to UA. Bakugo stands up and begins to shout that he will be the number one. He will be the first one and the number one from this horrible school to make it into UA. Midoriya, you're applying as well, right? The whole class begins to call him a quirkless loser. Imagine thinking you could be a hero because you have some dots on your hand. Yeah, it's probably not even a quirk. The teacher tells everyone to quiet down, and then the day ends. Midoriya is about to leave, but Bakugo stops him. You damn nerd. What are you trying to get into UA for? I'm supposed to be the first person to make it into UA from this crappy school. Kanchan, I can at least try my best to get in. No, you useless Deku. You're useless, you're quirkless, your little markings mean nothing, you damn nerd. If you want a real quirk, maybe jump out that window and pray to have one in your next life. Midoriya tries to walk out the door, but Bakugo's goons refuse to let him through. Midoriya picks up his notebook and walks over to the window. His arm begins to be covered in markings all the way up to his eye, and he jumps out the window. Bakugo runs over to see Midoriya gone. What? Where did that damn nerd go? Why did he jump out the window? Midoriya walking home. I will never understand why Kanchan is like that. Hopefully I didn't scare him by just jumping out the window after he basically told me to do it. Midoriya begins to laugh a bit while he walks under the bridge. I really need to develop my quirk more. I wish Ashura was still here. Maybe I could have asked him, but I guess he's the one to thank for my chance in the first place. Midoriya says this to himself while basically just staring at his hand. Flashback to 11 years prior. Indra stands before many others who have similar patterns to Ashura, with white like paint seemingly all over their bodies, as well as black marks, with different patterns for each person. What do you mean my little brother is dead? I always knew he was weak. Always going on about that hero bullshit. One of the people kneeling before him begins to speak. Not only that, he passed down what seems to be one of our seals upon death. So whoever that kid was, he has the karma seal from your brother. Back to the present. Midoriya continues under the bridge. A manhole comes breaking open as the sludge villain arises from the sewer. I didn't know he was here. I need your body, kid. The villain charges at Midoriya, and he activates his karma, trying his best to dodge the villain, as basically huge piles of sludge continue to attack him. In a desperate attempt, he throws a strike at the villain, seemingly with an open palm. A slight shockwave is sent at the sludge villain, and as this occurs, in his eyes In the eyes of Midoriya, the villain seems to start to glow, an odd tint. What the hell is this? Midoriya focuses everything in the palm of his hand, and the sludge villain begins to get sucked into his palm. Midoriya stands there in shock as another person arrives.
I am here. Wait, where's that villain?
I kind of beat him. Midoriya explains to All Might what happened, and realization set in on who he was actually talking to. Midoriya began to fanboy over him until he was asked to give the villain back so he could take him to jail. Midoriya focuses once again on his palm as the villain basically comes flying out of it unconscious.
Impressive. What's your name, young man?
Izuku Midoriya.
Well, young Midoriya, I hope you apply to UA because your quirk is definitely impressive.
All Might jumps off and Midoriya heads home. Izuku begins to create a plan for himself to basically train his body, but also his quirk, even finding a beach that is full of trash, thinking that this could be a great way of getting some training in. With that in mind, a few days later, he actually began heading over to Dagobah Beach. When he arrived, he saw a man that looked very skinny, seemingly training a young girl very close to his own age. He begins to walk up and introduce himself. Hello, I didn't know others were coming here to clean up the beach. The girl turned around and for some reason she looked familiar. Oh yeah, my dad is helping me train for the UA entrance exam. Really? That is what I'm here for too.
Well, young man, feel free to join us. We were starting by cleaning up the beach for the first part of our training.
Midoriya responds. Yeah, I would love to join. He looks back at the girl. Hey, do I know you from somewhere? I'm not sure. I'm homeschooled, so I wouldn't think so. Midoriya begins to think for a second, and then it comes to him. Melissa? Wait, how do you know my name? Do you remember me? I'm Izuku Midoriya. After she hears this, she immediately hugs him as if they've known each other for years. She begins to talk about how unreal this is, that she never thought she would even meet him again. She explains to her dad that this is the kid that saved her all those years ago, when that villain attack occurred in the city. He thanks Midoriya for his bravery. Yeah, no problem, sir. It was a long time ago. I'm just glad I was able to see her again. But sir, your voice also sounds familiar. Like, have I talked to you before? The man before Midoriya can basically even continue his thought process, tells him that he's All Might. But this is his normal state, and tells him to not say a word about this to anyone. And realization then sets in for Midoriya. Oh my god, you're All Might's daughter? Quiet down, Midoriya, please. Oh, I'm sorry. For the next 5 months, both Midoriya and Melissa clean the whole beach, increasing their endurance and strength by a good bit, as well as bonding, especially because they haven't seen each other since they were like 5 years old. With 5 months left before the entrance exam, they finished cleaning the beach and began training their quirks. Ranging from solo training to sparring Midoriya, Midoriya was able to basically develop his Karma Seal a lot more, learning the capabilities of it, but not quite all the capabilities. He learned that he could absorb elements of nature like wind, fire, water, and even more. And he also learned that his right eye is able to analyze quirks. He can figure out the quirk that someone holds based on their aura, as well as their aura can portray their intent that a person may have. For instance, their intent to kill or their intent for peace. He ended up learning that Melissa has some sort of enhancement quirk, but All Might seemingly has the same exact thing, but it seems faded for some reason. He decided not to bring this up to them until he was completely sure what the Karma Seal was basically telling him. So he just began to train once again, as usual. After 4 more months, it is decided that they would basically take the last month to make sure they both could pass the written exam,
So they go their separate ways for now. But now they actually have a way to keep in contact, even agreeing to show up to the entrance exam together. After the month of studying was over, then came the day for the entrance exam. And as promised, they arrived together. So how prepared do you think you are, Azuku? I feel pretty good. Should be easy enough, I feel. What about you? Yeah, I feel good about the exam. I'm sure we'll both do good. They enter the exam hall and President Mike begins to explain everything, including the practical exam. After the written exam is finished, everyone heads out to the fake city. Midoriya walks over to Melissa, but is stopped by a blue-haired boy. I will not let you sabotage that girl over there. What are you talking about? I'm not sabotaging her. Melissa walks up. Yeah, he's my friend. Now please move aside. They stand beside each other and the gates swing open. Midoriya activates his karma and they charge out the gates. Those two have the right idea. There are no countdowns in a real battle. They both rack up tons of robot points, both getting about 110 robot points. Then after about a minute more, the 0-point robot enters the city. Everyone begins to basically run away, but Midoriya hears someone screaming for help. He looks to see Melissa lifting rubble off of another girl. Azuku! The karma seal begins to spread up his face, and even more, making his eyes some form of white skin type, a lot like how Ashura looked. He jumps up with an open palm as a spiral of elements comes out of it. A large blast gets sent at the robot, completely destroying it. He begins to fall from the sky unconscious, but is caught by Melissa. When he wakes up, he's home with his mother crying, saying how worried she was about him. Azuku, don't scare me like that ever again. Sorry, Mom. He checks his phone to see a bunch of texts from Melissa about how the move he did was literally insane, and that she was sorry she couldn't basically stay until he woke up, but to text her when he was awake. Azuku, does this mean you didn't pass? No, I'm sure I passed, Mom. Don't worry. A week passes and he finally gets his acceptance letter into UA. And when he opens it, All Might begins to talk. Congratulations, young Midoriya. I have seen you grow so much in these past 10 months. And you have truly made that quirk of yours your very own. So I'm happy to announce your acceptance into UA High School's Class 1A. And I hope to see you do amazing things. If you couldn't tell already, I will be teaching at UA myself. So I will watch your journey to being a hero with my very own eyes. Izuku basically turns off the video and it just looks at his hand in shock. And begins to say, I can't believe it. I'm gonna be a hero? Yo, and that is the end of this part. I'm really sorry for how short this part is. I thought this was a good time to end it off, as well as I'm able to get a video out for y'all. But trust me, after we finish this series, I will be combining them and making it the movie, because I know a lot of you love the full-length movies instead of just these parts split up, obviously. But yeah, I'm gonna try my best to basically pump these out after I get all the stuff for whatever I have to do done, which should be done by, well, I guess today. So hopefully I can get that done and over with, and we'll be good. So yeah, the plan is basically to get these parts out to y'all as soon as possible. I'm gonna try my absolute best to do so. But that's about it. That's all I gotta say. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. It would mean the world to me. And if you have any suggestions for this what if or any future what ifs, please leave it in the comment section below. I appreciate all the love and support, and I hope all y'all have an amazing day. Later.
I don't wanna waste what's left.